The most far-reaching example of Orwellian distortion of language in the press has been the term surgical bombing as a legitimate descriptive phrase. This begs the question of how can a bombing, the dropping of tons of explosives on a country, ever be described as, quote, surgical, quote. Is a civilian shelter that has just been incinerated to be termed, quote, surgically removed? Or are we to accept the standard military phrase, quote, collateral damage, quote, to describe civilians? The ugly truth here is that these medical terms, which in a rational sense connotate healing the sick and helping people, have been twisted to mean quite the opposite. Thus, it has become standard practice to refer to as an invasion or attack as a military, quote, operation, quote, a particularly offensive example of newspeak that can only apply if we choose to view the citizens of Iraq as some loathsome disease, a cancer that must be cut away in order for U.S. economic and political health to return. During the Vietnam War, the U.S. media revealed through videotape reports on the evening news the actual reality of what was going on. Viewers could not turn away from footage of our soldiers burning villages, bombing heavily populated areas, and mistreating or murdering civilians. Nor could they, in good conscience, support fully what was revealed by the objective camera's eye to be an unjust, immoral war against the civilian population. Popular outrage soon followed these broadcasts, serving to tip the scales of public opinion in favor of withdrawal. As we have seen, the elites who own news media outlets would not make the same mistake again. With each successive U.S. intervention, tighter restrictions on what would be allowed airtime were enforced. News crews were not allowed into Libya, Panama, or Iraq to record the damage and possibly interview the survivors. Just about the only footage that made it past the censors was a clip resembling a video game. No burned-out buildings, no unsightly corpses, no actual reality, just blips of light across a huge black screen. Knowledge of the human consequences of such high-tech warfare could only have been conveyed through handheld camera footage shot on a human level. As a result, very few people, unless they were survivors or members of the invading forces, had specific knowledge of what happened during these events. This works out to the obvious advantage of the military officials and government leaders who were in favor of the invasion. They were now free to give their own limited, perhaps entirely falsified eyewitness accounts. They could also carefully rewrite the history of why it occurred, purifying their own motives and burying any possibility they may become before a court on civilian war crimes charges.